Hi, I'm Sean McCutcheon and welcome to my channel. This is my second video, the first video with any actual substance. This video is going to be about two things: how we can talk to each other about abortion in an open and honest manner. Then we're going to talk about what we can do to ensure that women have access to healthcare. For those of you who don't know, my wife and I conceived our children through in vitro fertilization, so I have very strong opinions about where life begins. However, the efforts to demonize and criminalize abortion have introduced so many lies into the discussion that abortion is currently wildly misunderstood and is not seen as the life-saving procedure that it is. The efforts being put forth by the anti-abortion activists do more harm to women than they do to protect children. Most people want to minimize the number of abortions, and if that is the goal, then there are plenty of ways to do that, but criminalizing the procedure is not the way. That being said, it will probably not come as a surprise that I am also very much in favor of abortion remaining safe and legal throughout the duration of pregnancy. I'm also taking the advice of one of my commenters on a previous video and drinking tea while I do this. And my daughter's advice in speaking up. Before we start about how to talk to people, let's get some lies cleared up. First is that most people who choose to have an abortion are already mothers. They're already thinking about the lives of their children and their family before deciding to have one. What circumstances put them in the position to make that decision are between them and their doctor. The next lie is that there's something called a partial birth, or the more recent and insidious lie, a post-birth abortion. Do abortions happen later in a pregnancy than others? Yes. But they only take place that late in 1% of the cases and are almost always done to save the life of the mother. I mean, think about it, right? If you're that far along in a pregnancy, you've most likely already picked out a name. You have already started buying things for the new life that's coming into your world, right? You don't want to have an abortion, right? But if an abortion is needed at that stage of a pregnancy, it is absolutely needed, right? And then we shouldn't be getting in the way of that. A related lie is that the current anti-abortion laws on the books already allow for exemptions for that case, except they don't. If you're promising jail time and fines for everyone involved in a medical procedure, then no one's going to get that procedure. There's already court cases in Texas about this, in which numerous women have almost died because they couldn't get the health care they needed. The last lie that I'm going to cover is that this is all a states' rights issue. Anyone familiar with how states' rights arguments have been used in the past in our country is already having some red flags be thrown up. But if it was really an issue for a smaller controlling body to make decisions about, then why not go all the way down to the woman and remove the government from controlling her at all? Why let the state control her, but not the federal government, right? Why not just let the woman make the decisions for herself, right? Part of the reason this lie goes right out the window, though, is almost immediately after saying that it was a states' right issue, several lawmakers tried to go ahead and push through federal limitations on women's access to abortion. Now, there are all sorts of other lies, some about the development of life, some about religion, some about a woman's autonomy, and who her body even belongs to, that I'm not going to get into at this time because I want to move on to the main point. So, how do we talk to people about abortion? First off, every situation is going to be different. So I'm going to give you some tools to use, but just know that you won't be able to get through to everyone. Plus, there is a long documented history of hypocrisy on this topic. Most notably, that some people feel that their abortion is a moral and ethical choice. without ever having any empathy towards others that might need to get one. One thing that is helpful is finding common ground. Most people that are against abortions don't understand why someone may need to get one. Additionally, they've been lied to so much about the pro-choice movement that they think it's a pro-abortion movement. Helping them understand that people want to lower the need for women to have abortions and that there are proven and effective ways to get that done, and that if they want to be pro-life, then they should advocate for these positions. Positions such as universal health care, affordable daycare, pre and postnatal care, free school lunches, and sex education programs. I know I'm missing more, so whatever ideas you have, please put them down in the comments. If they are open to these ideas, then it's a good idea to start helping to dispel some of the lies that around abortion that I've previously mentioned. Alternatively, if you're talking to someone who is a hardcore forced birther, i.e., someone that just wants abortion to be criminalized, no matter who has to die along the way, to include the mother and the child, then just take heart that these extremists are rare. According to Pew Research, over 60% of people support making abortion legal, and not all of them are forced birthers. Do notice I'm drawing a very hard line between people who claim to be pro-life and people who claim to be and people who claim to be pro-life but are really forced birth, right? Pro-life people you can talk to, forced birth people, good luck. Unfortunately, these forced birthers hold elective office in numerous states, which is why in the same places where abortion is illegal, there is such a high maternity and infant mortality death rates, right? Which means that in the same places that are governed by people that claim to be anti-abortion, save lives, more mothers and more children die, right? So they're very clearly not pro-life, right? So as long as you're not talking to an extremist, there is some hope that you can get through to them about this topic. Really, the best way to deal with extremists is to beat them at the voting office, right? Beat them at the polls, right? Because they haven't just stopped trying at preventing the federal protection of women's access to abortion. They're also trying to remove a woman's ability to divorce her husband, to limit what contraception is available, and to prevent the teaching of sex education. These are just the steps they're taking relative to women's health care, much less the other damage they're causing, but we'll cover that in other videos. Let me know in the comments if you have any success changing people's minds on this topic. Now, what can we do about ensuring that women have access to abortion? There are several organizations that can help with that. First off, the American Civil Liberties Union works to ensure that our civil liberties aren't infringed, right? Next is the National Organization for Women, which is focused on ensuring women's rights. Lastly is Planned Parenthood, which is a healthcare organization that also provides abortion services. I don't know what your situation is like, but any of these organizations would be happy to receive any level of help that you're able to provide, whether that's monetary donations or time and services. If you can't physically help out, but you can donate money, please do so, and vice versa. If you can do both, then that's even better. Now, I am obviously a new YouTube channel, right? And I don't have any sponsors except for myself, right? As I mentioned, this is not my day job. Even being an author is not my day job, right? But I have written a book, this book, and it is basically about how we do have more in common than we have that divides us. What we can do, right, to see the other side of an argument, what we can do to see another perspective. Abortion is one of the topics that I cover in it. It is one of the, more derisive topics that's in there. and I, wanted to. Sorry, family's in the background. Not going to show them. Anyway, you can find a copy of my book wherever you can order a copy of my book wherever books are sold. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, anything else you'd like me to address, please leave in the comments. Thank you very much.